Shut up and sit down.
All right, and this is the start of this episode of Generic Podcast. For people viewing, we currently have a new table for building the cyber car.
We all desked up.
So, unfortunately, was not able to move everything into the spare room because of technicalities with my piece of crap Sony TV and my computer not wanting to display properly, so everything is out here still, and that was like a $50 loss in cables. Really not a big deal. So hopefully whenever we move back to the States, everything will be back to normal and we'll have a better setup. So
Yeah. We have time to figure that out.
yeah, exactly.
I'm sure all two of our viewers are very upset right now that the quality of our podcast is so low, but
It's fine. So, right now I'm drinking a J&B because I've been reading American Psycho and I'm just about finished with it. And every time Patrick Bateman drinks, he only drinks the best J&B.
J&B Scotch. It's good Scotch.
It is.
I'm drinking a Mountain Dew. I'm doing the dew because it's early in the morning and I'm not really awake yet.
Fair enough. And you're not as much of an alcoholic as I am.
I'm not really an alcoholic at all anymore. I left that behind in the Navy.
Yeah, which is good. It's good.
What's been going on? There was a few train derailments. People on social media think Ohio is the new Chernobyl. It's not. It's always been like that. It'll probably always be like that.
If anything, that'll help home buyers because people will try and move out and people can move in.
The best thing to do if you live in Ohio is move out of Ohio. Just leave Ohio. The only thing worse than Ohio is like West Virginia. But, if you can move out of Ohio, do it.
Oh, yeah.
I did, and I've never really looked back, and I've never considered going back, and I'm very positive about not living in Ohio anymore.
Scoop that a little bit. There we go. That'll give it a little better. Yeah, I've driven through Ohio at most, so I haven't really experienced the life too much, but even having driven
you're from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Part of Ohio I'm from is very close to Pennsylvania. We're like 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So,
but, I mean, from where I lived, even Pittsburgh was quite a drive because...
you were closer to Philly, right?
Yes. So, even to... I can... Good. A little bit of drive.
Lancaster, PA, I believe, home of regular car reviews.
I'm pretty sure very close to. He's either in Lancaster, or I'm pretty sure he might be also in Allentown. He's one of those.
Yeah, I've seen them in parts of Lancaster and Harrisburg doing their drives. So they're in that area for sure.
If you type in Lancaster, PA, you're going to get horse and buggies because,
Amish.
Because, really the best thing...
Amish.
Really, the best thing to come out of that place is if you want to get any kind of like custom woodwork, like they make the best wood tables and shit like that. Otherwise, the only other thing that's really come out of like near there is one of my favorite shows, which I'm actually currently rewatching, is Banshee, which fantastic show.
I've heard a lot about that. It's a good show. I just never got into it.
It's I like it because that guy is Anthony Starr and he is Homelander from The Boys. So, but he keeps the same
shit. He looks different.
He keeps the same spirit and like energy of just fucking everything up, which is great. Season 1 literally has him basically like completely wreck a UFC champion's career by ripping his hand apart, like grabbing 2 fingers on each side and just pulling as hard as he can, and just tearing that man's hand down to like the wrist. It's
pretty brutal.
It's very brutal, but it's very, everything he does is kind of justified, because like for that one he was trying to arrest the guy and the guy fought back, and the reason he was trying to arrest the guy is because he nearly killed a hooker.
That is something the kind of guys that like UFC fighting usually do, is abuse women.
Yeah, so it's a very dark show, but very good. Definitely on my recommendation list. There's a reason I'm rewatching it. But
more on Ohio, I saw that a portion of the place I actually grew up was in an episode of The Last of Us. I don't watch The Last of Us, but I saw them driving over the bridge from West Virginia to Ohio on 470, and I was like, oh wow, they didn't even CGI anything. That's just 470.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that in an apocalypse scenario,
nothing changes.
The Ohio Valley just looks like the Ohio Valley.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. This train derailment, pull up some images of that, probably. I forget what the train was carrying, but it exploded and they're doing a controlled burn of it. And they're like, all the moms on Facebook are suddenly chemical engineers talking about, oh, this is making hydrochloric acid rain. And I'm like, no, it isn't, first of all. And secondly, it's not that huge of a deal. No, it's not Chernobyl. I watched several videos on YouTube from reputed people in the science community, specifically Kyle Hill, who's actually been to Chernobyl because he is a nuclear scientist, and he's basically just tore this whole accident apart. He's like, it's not as bad as you think it is. There's nothing radioactive about it. It's going to have very little impact on the ecosystem.
I mean, it really is what it is. Like, it's definitely not Chernobyl, but I mean,
it's not great.
If it's not,
I wouldn't have a picnic at the derailment site, but
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. If it really was as bad, like they have done mass evacuations.
Additionally, just the outrage and the uproar from people saying, "Oh, this is polluting the river." That river's been polluted for a long fucking time. All right.
Yeah, everything's like, I don't know. It definitely can be worse, but like, people just need to start eating the rich. That's basically where we're at. We just need to start eating the rich.
Well, this was the first major in a series of, there's like 4 train derailments now from Norfolk Southern this past week. And
no, not even just Norfolk. It was all over the U.S., which is really weird considering how close they were. It's because there was one in Texas.
One of the bigger problems I think we're not recognizing is that last year the railroad workers all went on strike, and Congress decided that they were too essential to be allowed to strike and took away their right to strike. And,
Because
basically all these overworked, underpaid railroad workers are having to
just
operate these trains and shit. And, oh, look, it's leading to big fuck ups. It's crazy how that happens when people are working entirely too much and have no time off, and you don't want to pay them enough or hire more people.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look what happens. All the trains crash.
And you underplay safety. There's so many various factors that greed has led to this. It's really unfortunate. We really need to take a lesson from France, who full out rioted after raising the age of retirement by 2 years. Like, we just need to start doing that more.
2 things on that. One, I've said numerous times, I believe on this podcast already, that regulation will be the downfall of humanity. Won't be like nuclear war or anything like that. It will be incredibly stupid laws that lead to our demise. Additionally, I love the French spirit of protesting and rioting. I rewatched some of the Grand Tour the other day, and The French one, where every 10 minutes they said that the French went on strike and there were people in reflective vests throwing Molotov cocktails at shit. It's great.
There you go. Carnage Trial. Yeah.
Yeah, Carnage Trial was great. We watched that. They had an event they were doing at a racetrack where they were all racing around it, and it's like every 2 laps they're like, oh, we have to stop. There's been a strike. It's like the corner workers are on strike and there's a fire. And it's just
hell
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, that shit is wild.
Oh, man.
That show's fantastic. Love Grand Tour. Probably going to rewatch a bit of that tonight after I finish.
Yeah, that and Clarkson's Farm, too.
Yeah.
That was pretty great in the second season of that.
I need to be a pirate and retrieve that. Get that booty.
Just log into my Amazon account.
Yeah, too much work.
I'll send you my login.
Too much work.
No, it isn't.
Because this way I just have to do one click and then I have it forever.
I guess, yeah.
But on other car things, and speaking of French, I was in the middle of watching Taxi 1998, and it is ridiculously funny.
It looks ridiculous. You showed me some pictures of the car earlier, and I was like, that looks ridiculous. And there it is, that white Peugeot.
Yep. Because he changes cars throughout the movies. There's 4 of them. And they made a remake
He's got 4 Peugeots.
And they made a remake in America with Whoopi Goldberg.
No, it was with Jimmy Fallon and Queen Latifah.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a big piece of shit, that movie.
Yeah, this is actually pretty fucking funny. Like, I'm kind of digging this movie because it has all of the right pieces for a late 90s movie. Like, to make it really fucking good. Because I love
watching late 90s shit and looking at, like, the clothes they're wearing and shit and being like, hell yeah, that was cool back then. We got to go back.
Because this is the bad guy's car, which is one of my favorite cars.
That is a great car for a bad guy. That almost looks exactly like the bad guy's car in Manta Manta as well.
Exactly. That's why I love it. So this is a French movie. I'm going to play a little bit of it, but I'm going to turn the volume down because you're not really going to be able to hear it. So thanks to YouTube Taxi Channel. But we'll just leave that up, actually.
It would be even better if instead of seatbelts, he had 5-point harnesses in all of the seats. Oh, he's got F1 style jacks. All right.
It's like, where is he getting these spare wheels from? What the fuck?
Yeah, where did they come from? Where did they pop out from?
Where this
comes out.
Like, this movie's great because it's so fucking ridiculous. This is everything I love in an old 90s movie.
Yeah, he's just eating the whole time, too.
Well, no, he was actually eating a fucking, like, a foot-long hoagie. Like, somebody had made him, and he was just holding the whole thing in his hand, just taking a bite out of it. Like, it was so ridiculous.
The sandwich from baguette is, of course, it's foot long. The baguette is foot long. That's some great practical stunts, too.
Like
the driving in this already immediately, you know what it reminds me of is Ronin.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The driving in Ronin was fantastic. It wasn't like, some Fast and Furious bullshit with jumps and explosions or anything, but it was actual cars going entirely too fast on very busy, crowded streets and
that's even better.
In and out of traffic. And the Ronin chase scene was great.
But that's the thing, like, that was a very small part of that movie. Like, this whole movie is just based around this guy just doing random things. Because where I'm at in the movie,
he looks like Dollar General Vinnie Jones too.
Yep.
He plays a great leading man.
He looks straight out of a Guy Ritchie film.
He does. Ooh, the Ducati 916. I quite like 90s Ducatis. The 2000s, they got a bit meh, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was when we were pushing the limits as hard as we could back then.
Yeah.
It.
I don't want you to lose your license. Nah, don't worry, I ain't got one.
Oh, wait. What the hell? Yeah. Absolutely great. Yeah,
I know I recommended to you a while ago. I don't know if you ever did watch them all, but the Shuto Trial movies.
Yeah, are they on YouTube?
I believe all of them are on YouTube. They're about racing on the Wangan.
Ah, shit. Sorry. Hold on.
Peak 90s. The first one's really funny. The rest of them are more serious. And Keiichi Tsuchiya is in like half of them, pushing home a message about not, what do you call it?
Oh, yeah.
Street racing. Oh, hey. Yeah. Yeah, they're all great. I mean, none of them are English dub, which is fine.
Thank you to these YouTubers, Akira Yuki, Sendo GT, and Hashiriya R32, as well as
1 through 6 full movie collection. There's a playlist right there.
Yeah, perfect. Everything that we'd want, because these movies were definitely not ever made in 1080p, so you don't need to worry about that.
Yep, and they're peak 90s street racing on the Wangan. They're great.
Exactly. Everything you'd want. So
the chick from the first one's hot too, but yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there's chicks in all of them, and they're all pretty hot. But
we'll save to watch later. That way I can watch those.
Yeah, great cars in those. Obviously, all Japanese, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Which that's fine. That's fine. I honestly, the '90s was to me probably the best decade for Japanese cars.
Cars in general.
Yeah, I would say probably cars in general, just overall, because everything from the R32 to the McLaren F1 to
the Viper.
Yeah, the Dodge Viper. Everybody went bananas during that decade of cars, and we haven't ever. We peaked then. We really did, because then we worried too much about safety things, and nowadays cars have backup camera requirements and all that kind of stuff, and it just makes cars more heavy and more expensive.
Makes cars worse.
Yeah. So
regulations make cars worse. Yeah, it's like Agent Smith said in The Matrix, and we set the simulation to 1999 because it's when you peaked as a society. And he's absolutely right. 1999 is when we peaked as a society.
Yeah, overall, yeah, it's hard to beat that because 2 years later was 9/11, and then everything changed.
And not for the better.
No.
But yeah, everyone's like, oh man, what if we were living in a simulation? I'm like, well, why can't they put it back to 1999?
And just forever keep it that way. We just continue to
frost my tips and plug me in, baby. Let's go.
Continue to develop crazy cars like we did back in the 90s. Just nothing bad happens. But unfortunately not.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't have a lot to talk about. It's February. February historically is a terrible month for me for the past 5 years. It's been okay so far. I mean, it's Daytona. Daytona's coming up on the 19th, which is today. Daytona 500 is today.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
I'm gonna watch it. I watched the Busch race last night, and with 5 laps to go, Junior Motorsports had 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place wrapped up. And then by the end of the race, they had a 1-car finish. They fumbled. They fumbled fucking hard. They fucked up. It was bad. There was Jeffrey Earnhardt Dale's grandson had a solid run going. He was 10th, and then some dickhead tried to get back in line, got into him, cut his tire down. He went a lap down. Like, you fucking idiot. You just fucking ruined that man's good run. And
yeah.
had a pretty good post-race conference with him. And he was like, yeah, I saw he was caught up in that last wreck. I know he's in the infield care center. He's probably going to need to go back there when I'm done with him. So it's like, yeah, you don't piss off Earnhardt Nation, least of all at Daytona.
No, that's one of the few times that like he gets to go and relax and like have a fun race.
Not only that, but like he's the fanfare and the celebrity that came with like Dale Jr. and the sponsorship and all that, like that hasn't followed Dale's other son's side of the family. Dale's other son, Kerry, was a Busch and lower tier racer for a number of years, was never really spectacular, never really had like best equipment. So of course he wasn't that good. And then his son Jeffrey is who's racing now. And again, he's never had like great equipment, top ride. The one time he did, when Richard Childress put him in a Busch car at Talladega of all places, he qualified pole. He led most of the race and he ended up finishing second because of a last lap pass. So you put that man in a car, he's going to perform. And then I don't understand RC didn't like come back the next year and be like, hey, we want you to run the full season in our equipment. Like, no, nothing. Just that was a one-off.
Yeah.
Have fun in the mid tiers. Like, the fuck, dude.
It's unfortunate. It really is.
Racing's gotten so bad. It's all about money and it's not about performance anymore. It's like, if you want to win, which should be the goal should be to win.
Yeah.
Get a good driver. And it's like, well, he's a good driver, but he doesn't have any sponsorship dollars behind him. He's not going to pay us to run the car. Like, no, what? No, you pay good drivers to drive the car because they win. Like,
it's not a buy-in thing. It is ridiculous. I'm hoping that I'm hoping, but I know it's not going to be better F1 this year because
no, it's going to be bad.
Because I mean, now Lewis Hamilton's even risen, his ego's risen even higher.
Which is weird because he had a terrible fucking season.
Yeah.
Ever since he finished second incorrectly to Max at the end of 2021, I believe. Yeah, ever since that bullshit call in Abu Dhabi where he lost the championship because the FIA blew the call, it's like he's like never recovered. He's been like a shell of a driver ever since then. He's
still egotistical though, because you've seen if you've watched some of his races, he's called out his crew team for any little failure that he has. It's gotten ridiculous. I don't even know if I really want to watch it because the one driver I really did root for, Mick Schumacher, is now one of the reserve drivers for Mercedes, so he won't be actively participating. Yeah,
that does suck. But I like, the older I get, the more I start rooting for just the old guys in the sport. Fernando Alonso been doing it a long fucking time.
Alonso, sorry.
Yeah, Alonso's been at it a long time. I think he's still with Alpine.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know if or when he plans to retire, but I hope not anytime soon because I believe he could still do it.
He's competing for Aston Martin.
Oh, he moved to Aston. Good for him.
Yeah.
Andretti's going to be coming into F1 with Cadillac. I think Red Bull just announced something with Ford.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, there's going to be more teams and more manufacturers getting into it, so.
As of media.ford.com, Ford returns Formula One strategic partner to Oracle Red Bull Racing for 2026, so not this year.
Yeah, but soon.
Yeah, 2 years, but yeah, teams from 2026 to at least 2030.
Ford, by association, has the most wins in Formula One history because Ford owned Cosworth when Cosworth developed the DFV, and the DFV is the winningest engine in Formula One history. The Cosy. But yeah.
That's
But yeah, the Andretti Cadillac thing I'm excited about, and it's just GM doing big things, and another GM doing big things thing I'm really getting hyped for coming up this June at Le Mans. The NASCAR Chevrolet Cup car that will be competing at Le Mans this year. The Garage 56 entry partnership with Hendrick Motorsports and Chevy and I forget who else, but yeah. Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion, 84-time winner, is going to be one of the drivers in that, and he's done some IMSA racing and some Indy racing aside from just his NASCAR.
Okay.
He's in the Daytona 500 today. Interesting to see where he'll finish. Probably not great. He was never a good plate track guy.
Yeah.
I don't know who I want to win the Daytona 500. I always root for Bubba Wallace because I love how much,
Yeah,
you're stereotypical. I don't like him because he's cocky. They're just racist. White guy, usually seen with Oakleys in a goatee. That makes up most of the fan base. Those guys all hate him because he's black, but they won't say that. So I love rooting for Bubba Wallace because anytime he does good, they have to backtrack and retreat and come up with excuses. Oh, NASCAR's just giving it wins. No, they're not. You cannot rig a race.
No, it's
the incredibly difficult thing to do. I like rooting for him. Aside from that, there's really nobody I'm super thrilled about. Kyle Busch was the most hated guy for a long time. He drove the M&M's car for
I remember that.
Joe Gibbs. And he left this year. He left after like 15 years.
Yeah, it's gotta be
Gibbs.
a long time.
This is a weird, convoluted nepotism situation. Joe Gibbs' grandson was coming up through the ranks, and Joe Gibbs kept saying, "Oh, well, I can't find sponsorship for Kyle. Nobody wants to sponsor him. We can't afford to run his car." And so Gibbs said, "All right, well, fuck you, then I'm leaving." Left. Immediately found multiple sponsors at Richard Childress Racing. He's driving the 8 car, and Joe Gibbs' grandson is now driving at Cup level for his grandfather, because there's a lot of that in the sport. Ironically, at Richard Childress as well, his grandsons, Ty and Austin Dillon, both drive. He cut Ty loose a couple years ago. Ty was terrible. Austin is also pretty bad, but he drives the 3 car. So that's, doesn't deserve to. Nobody does. They should have retired the number forever. But unlike other sports where you see like the NBA this year retired number 6 across all teams league-wide for Bill Russell, who passed away. A lot of teams have 23 retired for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And if you win a lot of championships and do really great for a certain team over, a 20-year career like Kobe Bryant did, they'll retire both your numbers, 8 and 24. Rip Mamba. He's the GOAT. But yeah, NASCAR, unlike other sports, does not retire numbers.
Which is
weird because there's only 43 cars in a field. And, numbers go 0 to 99. We've even had a 00 before, but we never had in the sport's most prominent era. So from the 70s on till now, we've never had 3-digit numbers. Nobody's ever had like a 101 number. Yeah. But you've got enough numbers, and we've got enough history as a sport, and we've had enough fantastic champions who only ran a certain number that we really could retire a number now. We could retire. The 43 could be retired for Richard Petty, but it's still being run by Richard Petty. He's not the majority team owner anymore, but he's still actively involved in the team. So is Jimmy Johnson, who bought into the team this year. So, but yeah, I don't know why we don't retire numbers.
That just feels weird.
It does.
I mean, it makes sense for, say, NBA, because if you start getting into 3 numbers, then it gets really confusing because you have to make the font slightly smaller. But
I mean, in the NBA, numbers go 00 to 99, and there's only 17 men on an active NBA roster at a time.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, they could for NASCAR go triple digits because most of the time you're gonna see they have such a different. Each car has different colors and all that you don't really need to know the number. You're gonna know it by the livery.
The numbers matter very little now.
Yeah.
Anyway, additionally, for a long time, part of the number was being able to spot the car on track, know where you're running, keep track of times and things like that. But really anymore, that's all done electronically. The numbers are becoming less and less important. They even moved them. They're not on the door anymore. They're not as prominent on the side of the car anymore. They're moving to the back on the quarter panel. They're small now. But the roof number is still there and still full size. And I can see that. I can see where in a couple years you're going to move away from numbers on the side of the car entirely and just only run the roof number, which would be fine.
Yeah.
I feel like we should retire numbers. And it'd be like the first number ever retired by NASCAR should have been the 3, and it should have happened not long after February 19th, 2001.
Yeah.
It's a dark day.
Oh, for sure. That's
for a lot of working class families in America because they just lost their hero, who we all thought was invincible. Yeah. But nobody's invincible. Racing is inherently dangerous, but always should be.
Yeah, that's
what makes it so admirable that they do it.
Exactly. Once we make it a zero danger sort of thing, then you might as well turn it into a video game.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, Daytona 500 today. I'll be watching that. Coming up in a couple hours. I don't know when.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know it was today. Not gonna lie to you. I've kind of been out of it.
But yeah, Garage 56 is running the Chevy Camaro NASCAR Cup car at Le Mans this year. Pull some images up of that. They've worked on it. It's got lights. It's got a few differences to a Cup car. One of the main ones is they've added some canards on the front and rear of it to add downforce.
What was it called?
Garage 56. Yeah, there you go. When it loads.
You NASCAR.
Yeah, their website is garbage. It always has been.
Okay, well, fuck you now.
Just go images and see what comes up.
Okay, well.
Uh-oh. Yep, that's the car. Yeah. You can see it's got lights. They've added some canards. It's got a little bit bigger front splitter. But aside from that, pretty much NASCAR Cup car. I think it's got a bigger fuel cell, obviously, and it may be repositioned in the chassis because to make refueling easier. And also the funniest thing is going to be driver changes because at Le Mans, those cars, especially in the GT class, which I believe primarily this is going to be competing in and against is the other GT cars, those doors open for driver changes, but this doesn't have doors. So in and out the window.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. It doesn't even have, it has a little thing there. It's kind of blurry, unfortunately. It doesn't look like it's got a little bit more, and then a little spoiler there.
But yeah, the tires, I believe, are basically the same as the current Cup car tires. They're a little bit wider, and also, additionally, they have a rain tire because it's highly possible that it's going to rain at Le Mans.
Yeah, it usually does, at least for a little
French
bit.
countryside in June, you never know. Yeah. But they just announced today. I was watching a press conference. Well, not a press conference, a live podcast from Daytona this morning, where Dale Jr. was there and talking to them about it, and they invited him to come over to France with them and just be a part of it. He's not going to drive or anything. He's just going to be there to press, publicity, media, check it out and everything. And he's like, hell yeah, I'm going. Yeah.
32-gallon fuel cell, and this one, the NASCAR to Le Mans, the next gen is going to be 20-gallon for, I guess, NASCAR.
Yeah, it is the same R07 Chevrolet small block V8. It's got, and I didn't even know this, ECR engines, Earnhardt Childress Racing engines. This is a partnership that happened sometime in like 09-10. I had no idea. They've been doing engines aside from just for NASCAR stuff for IMSA cars and Le Mans prototype cars and stuff for a while. They do a varying amount of engines for different series. They worked over the engine a little bit. It's got their different style fuel injection on it than the NASCARs have to hopefully make it more drivable and more tunable to less of a NASCAR experience, more of a Le Mans one. But in terms of the longevity and the endurance of the engine, I have absolutely all faith in the engine to make it a full 24 hours. The transaxle, I don't know. They've proven not that tough at some of our road courses and shorter tracks. So unless they're babying it through shifts, I don't know about that. But the brakes, I think, are different. It's got composite rotors instead of the standard steel rotors NASCARs have. But I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see how that's going to do.
Yeah, hopefully they do pretty well that way. Sorry, it's 1:14 a.m. here.
It's 8:15 a.m. here.
Yeah.
Or is it? Did my watch stop? No, it's 8:15. My watch is correct.
Yeah, hopefully they go and they do pretty well. That way it encourages them to keep doing it because it is fun to watch, not only the hypercar. I mean, hypercars are kind of, they've reached a point where they've done all they really can. Yeah. They're just doing more aerodynamics.
And aero is such a...
It doesn't make the car pretty.
All the speed and the racetrack performance of a car aerodynamic, you take away the ability to have good racing because all of a sudden it's just so susceptible to things like dirty air and little aero changes that you can't get close to anybody and you can't do any kind of real racing. And that's why I don't know.
It's like
ideally the racing series we start Sunday will not be aero dependent whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, I get trying to get the edge, but after a certain point it just kind of kills the everything, the fun of it, and all that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Still waiting on Cyberpunk DLC. Don't know when that's supposed to come out. Sometime this year.
Yeah, I don't think there's any kind of update. No. All I see is some YouTube thing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people making, I don't want to call them conspiracy theory, but just stupid, outlandish. I think this could be in the DLC. People that don't understand the ARG or the underlying plot or any of the lore of the cyberpunk world.
Yeah.
Morgan Blackhand's going to be in it. Like, no, he probably isn't.
Probably not.
It's probably not. People seeing Idris Elba like, is this Morgan Blackhand? Like, no, he's a white guy.
Blackhand doesn't mean he's black.
He does have a black arm, but it's a Militech cyber arm.
Yeah.
Morgan Blackhand.
Because her... I could just put that on my... Because for the people actually... There. He is a white guy.
Yep.
He's from Brooklyn. He is... Like, they do have a picture of him. Mm-hmm. They have actually...
Who else is from Brooklyn? Adam Smasher.
They have a few pictures of him, and he is canonically a white guy.
That picture is in several of the lore books you gave to me. Oh, yeah, there's one of the books.
All of Tower, yeah. Yep, there's his black hand. But, yeah, he is a white guy. Not black. But, yep.
Yeah. I'm excited for the perhaps far-reaching and, things of the DLC. I hope it's a huge DLC,
I'm sure
it looks like it's going to be.
Yeah. There we go,
I'm hoping for, more games in the Cyberpunk series. I know that they're pretty much finished with it after this DLC, but I'm hoping this DLC
It's fantastic.
isn't just the DLC. I hope it adds a lot of things and updates a lot of things and kind of completes the game to what we all really wanted it to be, you know?
Yeah.
I want them to finish their game before they abandon it, you know? That's I have a lot of hope for the DLC.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Cause
Granted, the game's already fantastic. I love the game.
and the mods only make it better because there's
They do.
so much you can
CD
do.
Projekt Red put out the full mod toolkit to make it easier for modders to make mods and add content to the game, and modders do, and it's great.
Because I know that whenever I go through YouTube, there's usually little shorts, and they go and they talk about the Arizaka cybernetic arms you can go and do to modify your character. They talk about the Metro system. They talk about ones that basically add in more romance things to do with your love interest and all that kind of stuff. So there is plenty of mods, and there will only be more and more mods, because as we've seen, especially with New Vegas, that
I want to make Judy straight mod.
I'm sure there is one.
Judy's bae. Judy best girl. Everyone talks about the girls from the anime. I'm like, no. Judy is best girl. Okay, first of all,
I'm more of a
Judy
Pan Am.
Alvarez.
I like Pan Am better, but
Pan Am because of her big ol' ass.
hell yeah.
And her shitty temper and her
Exactly.
general disability to handle life.
Exactly. Who's gonna go and tell the waitress I ordered fucking steak fries, not regular French fries?
Pan Am will.
Exactly. But yeah, it's I'm playing the game, and I'm currently at like 130 hours, I think. But I'm slowly working through it. I have to actually get a mod to change it because my character, I messed up the leveling, and I don't really want to restart. Because you can change the perks, but you can't change the actual points.
I think with Cyber Engine tweaks, you can just give yourself a point.
Yeah, I don't really want to give myself points. I just want to redistribute them, because I was hoping to. I'm currently doing the hacking build, but the problem is one of the things I want to get that reduces the cyberware or the hack reset time by 30% needs a body skill of 18. Which is really weird.
There's a mod out there that removes body requirements.
Okay, so I might
removes mod requirements. I have that one. I have a bunch of cyberware mods for cyberware pertaining to cyberware.
Okay.
One of them is hybrid cyberdeck and Sandevistan systems.
Okay.
That's a pretty OP one to have, because now you can slow down time, hack everybody, and then jump down and punch the last dude, to death. Because melee is ridiculously overpowered in Cyberpunk, by the way. If you ever wanted to play the game as a street brawler or as a samurai, you can. Oh,
yeah. That's why it's fun to watch some of the shorts, because you'll see it's like, what V is like canonically. And it's like, okay, and I click it, and it's like, this dude just making quick shots, and it's like fucking ridiculous. I'm like, oh, okay. Yep.
There's no canonical accurate.
Yeah, it's whatever.
It's whatever. It's whatever you choose. That's the point of the game. That's the point of role-playing games, that you need fucking books to read and play like that.
Yeah.
It's what you want. There is no what's the correct story.
I mean, and I understand what they were going for. They were going for, like, V is supposed to be badass, so it's just them showing these trick shots and all that kind of shit. But, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That was the problem that the Fallout games, a lot of the Elder Scrolls games have, is they always put you in the same character. In that you're trying to find your dad, you're trying to find your son, you're a prisoner. Like, that's no
matter what, you're a good guy. Because there's really never enough of, like, an evil storyline to play through to, like, be a dick.
Yeah, and that's speaking of big video games that just came out, the Hogwarts Legacy game came out, and my biggest gripe with it is they
I don't
actually
give a shit.
Well, but
it's Harry Potter. I don't care. I never cared.
Is that they give you the spell to kill anything, whatever. I kill something, kill stuff. But there's no fucking like karma system. So you can go and you can be, running in front of your NPC friends and just cast a spell and kill people, and no one has anything to, like. There's no like, oh my god, what the hell? Like they don't vilify you.
Why are you killing people? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, and also just the overall lack of spells, because apparently there's only 26 spells, which for comparison, Elden Ring, which came out last year and isn't a spell only game, has over 100 spells. So I'm like, a lot of people at work are trying to get me to play, and I'm like, nah, I don't care. I'm not paying for that piece of crap. Like, I'll stick with what I have. Like, I actually just bought a PS2. It's on the way. That way I can play PS2, PS1 games back there. So, hoping to try and get a capture card. That way I can put that on the channel, but that just depends on if I have energy. I'm not going to lie.
I just emulate PS2 games.
Yeah, but the Kingsfield 1 game back there is really hard to find on emulation, and
there's a lot of stuff that it's hard to find to ISO, but
so it's fine. Give me something new to play.
Yeah, and in playing again, we might play some Payday from time to time, but I mean, we don't really seriously game anymore.
No, I
closest I come to seriously gaming is simulating through a full season of basketball in 2K over and over again, and then you can't simulate the playoffs in the championship game. I have to play those. So I do play those, and then I win another championship, and then I simulate another season just because I'm trying to break all of the records I can in a 2K career. So now, LeBron is the scoring record, and by the time LeBron retires in 2K, the scoring record is at 40,000 points. So you got to average 50 points a game for 20 years to break that. So and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do things in 2K, score 200 points in a game because you can cheese 2K that way. But I'm not playing 82 games a season and doing that. I'm going to simulate them. Yeah.
That's over 1,600 games.
Yeah.
That's too long, man.
Yeah, it is. The record for games played in an NBA career is 1,611, and it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. And he wasn't one of these young guys who came right out of high school. Kareem was 23 when he got to the league.
Jeez.
He didn't retire till he was 42.
Good God.
Yeah. That's another thing. We've got all this.
Yeah, we talked
specifically a problem with the NBA. We've got all this medical technology and we understand sports science better, and we're resting guys and training all this. People are getting hurt all the fucking time. Nobody's playing a full season. It's these guys aren't even that old. It's
no.
It wasn't you saw Kareem missing half the season because he had high ankle sprain. He had knee pain. He wanted to rest. No, he got out there and he fucking played. And that's why really historically, a lot of NBA records are probably never going to be broken again, is because it just the game has changed to be played in such a way that they won't.
Yeah, no, it's the same.
I mean, some records we already knew were never going to be broken again. Wilt Chamberlain getting 50 rebounds in a game. It's that's not going to happen again. That's just.
Yeah, that's.
There's a lot more 7-foot guys on the court now.
So yeah, it's another sport that's changed, I'd say, almost for the worst.
Yeah, I watched a lot of videos about why, and one thing people don't understand is the way defense was played in the 90s was different because of the illegal defense rules. And now there aren't any illegal defense rules like that. And basically the illegal defense rules in the 90s made it so that players had to play isolation one-on-one. So if you had to guard Michael Jordan, like you had to guard Michael Jordan. Like your teammate wasn't gonna come help you.
Oh, okay.
Because he couldn't. He wasn't allowed to come play help defense on Michael Jordan. So that's why we have a lot of things like great historic video clips of Jordan scoring one-on-one against somebody and throwing down a huge dunk. It's like, well, the rules allowed that style of play to be prominent and successful. You know, you needed like big 7-footers like Shaq back then because nobody could take Shaq one-on-one. Yeah, that's a guaranteed bucket, you know. But like now, if you had a big 7-foot center like Shaq and you dump the ball off inside to Shaq, like well now 3 guys are on Shaq and they're either going to foul him and make him shoot 2 free throws, which he's not going to make, or he's going to miss the shot because there's 3 guys on him. It's like, So yeah.
That's something I didn't even know that had changed that way.
Yeah, it was the early 2000s when the illegal defense rules went away, but so too did hand checking, which meant you couldn't, like if I had to guard Michael Jordan before, I could keep one hand on him the whole time, you know. Like I could have my hand on him while I'm guarding him and like, you know, keep him at bay and keep him from driving in on me, you know, but hand checking went away too. So now if you touch the offensive player while you're on defense, that's a foul. So and the guys abused that for a while. There were guys like Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant who would, you know, pump fake a 3 and wait for you to jump to block it and then jump into you and shoot. And it's like, well, that's 3 free throws because dude jumped into you, you know. It's like, but they did away with that and took that away too. They kind of nullified that rule, so we don't see that anymore really.
Oh my god!
It's more regulation leading to the product of bad basketball.
Mediocrity, yeah.
We got a lot of guys who probably could have had 20-year careers and been Hall of Famers, and it's like, yeah, well, you know, they're out of the league in 4 years. Why? It's like what they're good at isn't part of the game anymore.
Yeah.
The mid-range game and post play, where you know you post it up on the low block by the paint, back to the basket, and you're gonna throw a couple moves and then turn around jumper and score. Like that's an art form, but it's really difficult to do. Guys like Hakeem and Jordan and Kobe like made a career out of that, and it's like that's a loss. No one in the NBA right now has a post game like that because they don't need it. All you got to do is get open and shoot a 3. It's small ball, it's shooting, and it's ruining the game for the fans. It's terrible.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's another thing that I don't think it'll ever change for the better. Like, really, someone just needs to make their own series and just...
Which has been tried and been done. In the early 70s, we had the ABA, which merged with the NBA. And then they brought the ABA back in the 90s, but nobody watched it, and then it went away. Which is a shame because like America is one of the places in the world that has antitrust laws that prevent a monopoly on something. Like, well, there is no competitor to the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
They have a monopoly on things.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing that might blow your mind about basketball, there was no WNBA until the 90s, which is a shame because I watched a great documentary called The Women of Troy about the USC women's basketball team in the 90s or the 80s. And Cheryl Miller, Reggie Miller's older sister, was probably the greatest women's basketball player in the history of the world. And after college, it was like, well, that's it.
Yeah.
Like she played in college. She won 2 national championships with USC. Yeah. She won an Olympic gold medal. And then it was like, okay, well, you can go to Italy and play.
Yeah,
like nope. Yeah, which is a shame. She's scored 101 points in a high school basketball game.
Jesus.
Yeah.
God. Like, you're so young back then.
Yeah, and the score of that game was like 175 to 15.
God dang.
Cheryl Miller had 101 points.
fucking wrecked.
Yeah, no, that was like 2K on easy mode stats. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's god damn.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. I don't know. We need more competitors. That's basically really the only thing that's going to save a lot of sports because they're just getting more and more.
I lose that competitive edge as soon as they get a big contract.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it used to be in the NBA where like guys are getting paid like 8, 9, 10 million a year. You know, now it's like, you know, I signed a max contract. That's 36 million a year for 5 years. Like, well, now I'm no longer incentivized to work hard and put my body on the line.
Yep.
Because I don't need to play beyond this contract. I'm set for life.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck that. I want to be the best. I want to win championships. I want to win all the championships. I want to win all the games. I want to beat everybody. I want to be the best. They're talking about LeBron, Jordan, Kobe. They're going to talk about me. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But nobody's got that mindset anymore because, I mean, hey, I would also probably be one of those ones. I would lose that mindset too. You gave me $36 million a year.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing to go and say, I'm gonna go, you know, be my own guy, you know, do like things that people are gonna remember me, or I'm just gonna take this easy money. Like that's a pretty hard thing. Like you take easy money and then you get out after that 5 or whatever years, and you aren't injured. You don't have a permanent, you know, injury that's gonna fuck you up with a, you know, give you a constant pain.
Like, hey, I never tore my ACL. I can still walk. Like, well, even now, tearing your ACL is a quick surgery and a couple month recovery. I mean,
yeah, I would say more for like NFL. Like, I would say more like getting
those
concussion.
Guys. I don't know why, with what we're learning about CTE and shit like that, Aaron Hernandez guy murdering those people and ruining his life completely and then killing himself. Like, I don't know why any parent in America right now would allow their child to play football at any level.
It's because they watch the big game and they're like, man, but he's making this kind of money, and it's money.
You're
greed.
Guaranteeing brain damage later in life, and that's just not something I would ever do.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Even I played high school football, and you know, not a lot and not very well, and I've probably got CTE just from head to head, helmet to helmet contact. You know, it's just it's not a do I or don't I? It's, oh, did you play? Yeah, well, you have it. Like, well,
it's greed and it's Americans' identity sort of thing. It's the same reason that parents are okay with, you know, sending their 17-year-old son to Iraq or wherever. And
I hate the NFL and everything it stands for.
So it's all about American identity, and it's so deeply rooted. It's unfortunate that.
Why football man kneel?
Yeah, that's what really upsets people, unfortunately. But, I mean, fortunately, we are getting better with realizing what causes concussions. We are slowly developing technology. So hopefully, I mean, but it's one of those things that it's hard to keep that safe, but also keep it interesting in the same way that racing is. But at the same time, racing has never I don't think has ever caused anybody to have PTSD or not even PTSD, but concussion that basically makes them go homicidal. It's called deaths.
Nothing like that. No, I mean, people, especially the last couple of years, it's been a lot more prominent. People are recognizing they've gotten concussions from big wrecks, but no one's ever become, you know, homicidal and aggressive and dangerous because of it. Except for, like, no, not Curtis Turner. We talked about him before. There was Leroy Yarborough. He had a couple bad wrecks and bad head injuries and ended up trying to murder his own mother. But that's one out of how many hundreds? Yeah, he's really the only one. Aside from that, it's just untimely deaths and basilar skull fractures.
Yeah, that was in '84 too, though. Like, was when he died. So he was doing racing a long.
Yeah, it was sometime in the '60s where his mental.
Yeah, in '80.
Illness really started to show. Yeah. And even then, he was never mentally there again. Like he'd have moments where he came back, but he was never actually really there again after that. He had a real bad wreck and ended up with a pretty bad head injury, and yeah, it was just never the same after that.
Yeah, I see.
But we're talking safety back in those days was like a plastic open face helmet and maybe some electrical tape wrapped around the steering wheel for padding. Like it wasn't. They didn't have window nets until the 70s.
Yeah, so it's definitely gotten racing's gotten better, and so it's I don't know. Those two sports are hard to go and compare to keeping the sport lively and keeping it interesting and safe and all that. It's just hard to keep that together. I don't know.
Degenerate retards will always watch the NFL no matter what they do.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah. In keeping with racing becoming safer, the quality of racing's gone down.
Yeah. I would say that, and I would say if they introduced a lot more, what we had talked about before, just less oval tracks.
Yeah. Granted, the oval track was kind of just what came up initially as it was the easiest to build, easiest to drive on. It was more about man and machine in a test of endurance, which is why all the races are 500 miles. So it's like, well, back then, it was quite an accomplishment to race a car 500 miles. Would it make it?
Yeah. But now,
whereas now it's like 500 miles. That's like your 4-hour race distance. Like, okay, now how about let's actually have some good racing for that, since we know that pretty much all the cars are going to make it.
Yeah.
Unless bearing some mechanical failure nobody anticipated,
Yeah, or just other driver causes you to not finish.
Oh, there will be so many incidences in the Daytona 500 today. So many big taking out half the field crashes due to some dickhead who doesn't know what he's doing and shouldn't be on track in that car and has absolutely no respect for his potential to end lives by making a bonehead fucking move in traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Like I saw last night when fucking Parker Kligerman took Jeffrey Earnhardt's tire down. That dumb son of a bitch should not be driving because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. We're going to see that a lot today, and it's going to take out half the field. It's going to cost a lot of people millions of dollars, and some guy going to be like, oh, yeah, I thought I was clear. I guess I wasn't clear. Like, you're a fucking idiot, and you shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
people that don't have enough training.
It's so safe now that they don't respect it enough anymore. It was a lot better in the late 80s and early 90s when you could still die in a race car, and a lot of the older guys had a respect for that and a respect for the track and each other. And I'm friends with these guys. I don't want to kill anybody and then not see them next Sunday.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. Next podcast we'll talk about the results. We'll see how that all goes down.
Yeah.
We probably do another one later.
Really no movies or games or TV shows I'm looking forward to.
No.
The new season of Wu-Tang and American Saga on Hulu. I got to check that out.
Hell yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. If you got beef, then bring the ruckus.
I'm trying to think. There was Cocaine Bear comes out this week.
I can't wait for Cocaine Bear. I'm actually excited about it. I'm not going to see it in theaters. I'm going to wait until I can torrent it. But yeah, I'm excited for that because my favorite celebrity couple is in that movie. It's Matthew and Carrie Russell. Carrie Russell's so cute. And they're just adorable together, and they're both in it. And for anybody who doesn't know them by that names, they were the husband and wife on The Americans who actually fell in love while filming and got married and have a son.
Hell yeah.
I think it's 2 kids, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, they're great together, and they're great in everything they act in, and I can't wait. Yeah. You should also watch The Americans. Fantastic show.
I will at some point. I'd say probably when I get out of the military and I have a lot more free time. I have many months. But
yeah,
I'm going to go see Cocaine Bear in on-base theater because it will not be playing out in town, of course, which will be even better because
it's a highly anticipated film in Japan.
No. But which is great because I'll be seeing it on base, where I will be hearing a bunch of Marines going, whoa! And it'll be really funny to watch.
Cocaine Bear! Yeah. Ice Cube's son is in Cocaine Bear.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
He was great in straight out of Compton, and
Yeah.
then like since then he's gotten very fat.
Sounds all right. Hold on,
Yeah.
I gotta grab a drink of water.
That's fine. You're not even on camera right now. Your camera went away. So
Is it there?
no, I think it's an internet connectivity problem. Oh, you're green again. So maybe it'll come back in a second. I've made really no progress on my Camaro model for everyone watching, listening. I've got it all painted and ready to final assembly and put decals on. I'm putting off doing that because I'm really bad at putting decals on and I hate doing it. So, yeah. Yeah, it's silver. I did the headlight buckets in black, the hood blisters in black like they're supposed to. Everything's 84 Z28 correct. I just gotta finish assembly and slap decals on, and putting the glass in is another thing I'm putting off doing. I might put rubber gloves on to do that because like without fail, every time I was a kid and I'd go to put glass in, I'd smudge glue on the glass somehow and be like, well, that's fucked now. There's no getting that off. There's no fixing it. It's just fucked now.
Yep.
So yeah, I've got some specifically for putting clear plastic windows in models glue from Tester that I might use on that.
I don't know if you can see me now.
No.
God damn it.
No, I can't. I don't know why. I can't.
Can you see me now?
No. It's not. I don't think it's anything to do with your setup or your camera. I think it's just connection. And I don't know if it's my internet or yours, but
Okay, because yeah.
can you still see me? And I'm not fuzzy or pixelated or anything.
Yeah. So right now
it might be on your side then. I don't know.
Because you're fine on my side. But I'm showing the camera the pink strawberries I got today, which I will pull up for you and for your people that are doing the stream. I remember.
So in the corner of our screen. Oh, hey, I can see you again. For a second there. Yeah, when I mouse over...
So can you see this?
See, that's weird. Yeah, I can see what's on your screen, and it shows connection good now. But yeah, in Jitsi in the corner of your screen, now your connection went to lost. So your connection is flip-flopping between good and lost. It's very interesting looking strawberries. They look 100% like something e-girls would find aesthetic.
They're and pretty good. They taste like a little bit like pineapple. But
ew.
They're actually pretty good. They're like really, really sweet. But this 6-pack of them, of really big ones, I'm trying to see if I can find like a 6-pack that's like mine.
Click shopping.
Well, they're in Japan, so I'm trying to see.
Oh, Zevia. I remember when I drank only Zevia as a soda. I was still pretty thin then.
There. So basically, like, these really large strawberries, but say it's only 6 of them, so not those last 2. 6 of them is 2,000 yen.
That's $20.
around like 15, 18 bucks.
That. How big are they? Are they like the size of an apple, or are they just like a big strawberry?
They're like a big strawberry.
Wow.
I'm trying to see
that's
if
not big enough to warrant that.
Like, I bought them because I was like, man, I haven't had these in like 4 years. And they're good, but yeah, a lot of fruit's really expensive over here because like apples, for like a 2-pack of apples is like 500 yen.
Was that just on base or is it out in town?
No, that's out in town. On base is even worse because they have to import everything. But out in town, a lot of fruit's really expensive because it takes up a lot of ground, like field and stuff, to grow them. So it's expensive.
Yeah, there's not a lot of real estate for growing in Japan.
Yeah, so like fruit's expensive and all that. So they're really
misconception
good.
About Japan that it's not a very big island. Japan is larger than the west coast of the United States, but it is an island. And on the globe and stuff, it looks different because of Mercator projection. But yeah, there's a great picture of that green one.
There. Yeah. So like it takes up
Japan's
a good.
large.
It is large, but it doesn't have a lot of real estate for growing.
Yeah, the Tokyo metropolitan area is like
there's a part of
5.5 times
Texas.
the size of LA. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I love images like this that show like the true size of things because like on a globe, things do look fucked up in scale.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like Japan is huge. It's just They put a lot of a lot of them, like the stuff that you can get here for cheaper is stuff that is more expensive in the States because like fish is a big dietary thing here, so fish is really cheap here. In the States,
Well, you're an island.
So yeah,
You're surrounded by fish.
Yeah. So
if you live in Nebraska and you want fish, guess what, bud? Somebody had to overnight that shit on a plane or a truck.
Yeah, and then like freeze it, and fish that's been frozen doesn't taste the same as fresh caught fish. So it's
whereas in Japan, it's like, where am I buying the fish? Like you're buying the fish 6 blocks away from where the fish was brought in on a boat.
Yep. Yeah. So it's totally different sort of thing here. But.
Yeah, I'm not big on fish. I think if I did live in Japan, I would primarily still be eating just beef and chicken. But well, aside sushi, I do like. I love sushi, but I'm just not big on like a lot of fish.
Mm-hmm.
Tuna, love me some tuna.
Yeah, I mean that's not too bad a price. A lot of beef is really expensive here because if I want to get a steak, I have to get it on base because think of a normal size like thick cut steak, like a normal cut steak. I would say not even like a thick cut, it's like a normal cut. Now cut that in half, and that thin piece of meat is what they sell as their steak. Yeah,
and again, there's not a lot of room for cattle.
Yeah.
For chickens, for things like that. Whereas,
like chicken is
growing up in rural America, what they often thought of Asia, specifically China, is that, of course they're angry all the time. Oh, they eat rice. Bro, they have more cattle per head than the entire United States. like China's damn near bigger than America, but like, granted, a lot of that's mountains, but they're mining all that shit.
China does have a lot of cattle because they do something that's inhumane, sure, but it makes sense.
It's efficient though.
26-story pig house where they live.
It's inhumane. Like, well, I don't give a fuck about the pigs.
Like,
I don't care if it's inhumane. I care that I can continue to enjoy pork and bacon and that it's cheap. Yeah. I don't give a shit about the pigs.
Like they're gonna die anyways, unfortunately. But it is what it is.
Like they're being raised and fattened to be killed. Like,
plus, it's still not the worst thing that we do because the worst thing that we do is when we overfeed the ducks until literally they fucking die of being overfed. Whatever meal that makes, I don't remember what the meal that is.
I don't know. I don't know that much about cooking, really.
But yeah, because like. Chicken in Japan is actually pretty good because I can get basically like boneless chicken, like chicken that's been sliced into what will essentially be like a chicken tender, but just unbreaded.
Basically like a chicken fillet.
Yeah, I can get like a 5 or 6 pack of them for like 200 yen, so it's like $1.50.
Hell yeah, dude!
So it's cheap, but everything else like pork products and all that, it's so much more expensive. So.
My budget-friendly diet lately consists of primarily just hot dogs, because you can buy like a 36-pack of hot dogs for like $8 or $9 at grocery outlet.
Jesus.
And it's like, are you eating them on buns? I was like, no, I'm not, because a loaf of bread is much cheaper than 4 or 5, 6 packs of buns to eat all of these hot dogs on buns. So now I'm just eating hot dogs and bread.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Really, it's just the texture of the bread's different. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's both bread.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's very much the same.
So, but, yeah. The only other thing I had in mind was if you wanted to talk about The
Oh, I just realized it doesn't matter that I can't see you because you're the one recording, and as long as you can still see you, this is fine.
Yeah, but there was the only other thing was the RX-7 speakers. If you had found anything on them, I probably won't be buying speakers for a bit because I am going to be buying tickets to go to Kyoto in April, because I'm going to be doing the Kansai region. So I'm going to be doing Kyoto.
Kansai, the accent. A Kansai accent, like my boy Majima. No, Kyoto's dope. Kyoto's a party.
So I'm going to be doing that during the cherry blossom season.
Hell yeah.
And then I'm also going to be doing Osaka and then Nara. Come on. Yeah.
What did I look up about your speakers?
There. So yeah, cherry blossoms are going to be plentiful. And then Osaka is also really pretty, a lot more city-like. And then Nara has tons, but the big thing that a lot of people will know them for is the bowing deer. Where the deer literally...
Oh yeah, the deer.
Literally
deer
fucking...
bow.
They bow to you, and then you feed them food. But...
Yeah, that's just classical conditioning right there.
Hell yeah.
At its finest.
Hell yeah.
But from what I can remember from looking up your speakers, was that your door speakers can be as big as a 6.5 inch as long as it's a shallow speaker.
Yeah, because the main thing was I don't have the Bose sound system in mind. I just
you don't have the Bose.
Yeah.
So check that link right there. Stock non-Bose speaker size.
Actually, shallow 6.5. Yeah, the only thing is this is from 07, so like it's really old.
Right.
So,
Well, the size of the speakers doesn't change.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, 6.5 inch.
No distortion.
Shallow 6.5.
Yeah, and the rear speakers I'm wondering about. I think they're 6x9s. 2.5 inch depth is the absolute max.
Rear is 6x8 says, and then, but yeah, like this one's saying 5.25. So like I don't know.
That's I believe the Bose.
And okay, yeah, okay, so 6.5.
So, I don't know what your preferred website of purchase for speakers would be.
Probably either Amazon or Crutchfield.
Crutchfield, I don't know. They ship to Japan?
They probably. Pretty sure. Maybe. I mean, if I could do Amazon, I would just do Amazon if I know they ship to me. The main thing I just have to check if they ship either to my, if they don't ship to my personal address, if they ship to my PO box, then that'd be fine. But
well, yeah. Select your RX-7.
yeah, because they're.
Oh, 93, 96, yeah.
So, yeah, I was like,
what year is yours again?
99.
99. Yeah.
So, yeah. We can always come back to this though in a couple days whenever we do another one after to talk about the race, and then.
Well, I can just find you some speakers on Amazon later.
Yeah.
And I'll send them to you, and we can look at those and talk about them.
Yeah, so, because obviously, like I said, I'm not going to be buying them right now because hopefully in March later, so basically in like 2 weeks, I'm going to be taking the car in to hopefully get the hood repainted and the spoiler mounted, and then hopefully some of the rust dealt with. So that'll... Hopefully,
yeah, you don't have that much bad rust. They're probably just going to brush on a rust converter and then apply some undercoating over it so that it doesn't rust through again, you know?
Yeah, so I just don't want to under budget for it. I'd rather over budget for that. That way I know I'm good, and then
yeah,
because then I can do the speed.
No, I feel you, homie.
And then the only other thing I had was the Nismo parts for the R32 because that still is on our thing.
Yeah, even if we can find like a original scan of that Nismo catalog, I'm pretty sure I can then source the individual pieces to create all of the Nismo parts. Granted, they won't be original Nismo parts. They won't say Nismo on them unless you want us to buy some Nismo stickers and put on them.
I mean, some of the Nismo parts I don't even say we have to do. Like, it's kind of just what we decide.
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of what I'm saying, like stuff from that catalog would be like, like an upgraded Brembo brake kit. And I'm like, okay, well, we can find those calipers and like adapt those calipers to the car. Like, granted, they won't be like the Nismo kit. We won't pay the outrageous money for it. Like,
yeah, because that's the thing is, you can see the crankshaft is almost $2,000.
Whereas like we can just rebuild the engine and have a machine shop do to the crankshaft everything Nismo did for much cheaper than buying a Nismo crankshaft.
Yeah, and like the engine block is $2,500 or so.
But even things like the Nismo gauge cluster, like, well, we can just get gauge overlays and then like remap the speedo to be accurate. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't mind buying some original. I don't mind buying some things. I just don't want to do the whole catalog and be like, I want one of everything, because that's just not gonna not financially responsible. Like
Well, even things like the clutch, like, well, there's better clutches now, so obviously that wouldn't make sense to do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's center picture right in the top there.
This one?
Up? Nope. Next to it?
This one? Oh, this one.
No. Yes. Where you see there, it's like, oh, there's the like Tokiko shocks and like there's the strut tower brace. Like, well, we don't need to buy like the Nismo strut tower brace. Like, we can either make or buy a very similar one and then just put a Nismo sticker on it and it'll look right.
Oh,
because they're basically the same.
I will see if I can buy that book.
Oh yeah, that would be excellent.
But yeah, like I don't want to do the rims because those look like the R34 kind of rims, and I don't like them on the R32. I like the OEM style ones that they had, honestly.
Well, you like the N1 rims, right? The BBS kind of mesh looking rims.
Those are fine, but I just like the OEM ones like the best.
Oh, like that gray skyline in the second row there. The 5 spokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the 5 spokes too. If I was gonna spend the money on a R32 GTR, it would be a gunmetal gray. It would have the stock 5 spokes, and I wouldn't really do anything to it because that is what I think of when I think of an R32 Skyline. Yeah,
I mean, because if I was gonna do the custom brakes or the rims, I would do the V-Spec 2. Where that came with after its own like
the BBS rims,
but that came in the B-Spec primarily came in a white, so like the silver with the white looks really good. But if I'm not going to do
it was a body in white because a lot of them got turned into race cars and then crashed. So white's a pretty rare color.
Exactly. So, but I'm just going to stick with the gray because it'll be cheaper. And as Doug DeMuro said when he bought his Carrera, like I'm not going to spend that kind of money for a paint.
Yeah.
Because he wanted a yellow Carrera GT, and like,
that was a rare color for the Carrera GT. I'm not going to spend that kind of money for paint. Why would you? You can have the car painted.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you really want it, like, you can always repaint the car. Like, if it's your dream car and you're never going to sell it, like, it doesn't matter what the value is. It's your car.
Paint whatever you want, yeah. Devalue that shit immediately.
So.
It's mine.
Exactly. So I will see if I can find some more parts catalog, because I definitely do want to do some things to it though, because like I would like to do the steering wheel with that little badge things. That was kind of neat. Like the gauge cluster, I don't mind that. That's fine. We can upgrade that. We can buy the parts. I don't care. I definitely want to do the glove box thing, like little things. I don't want to do the seats. Like most of the stuff. I'd rather
the stock seats are really good.
I like the stock look.
Yeah.
Stock look is really nice. So, just little things. But even then, I want to keep everything. I don't want to sell anything. Like even with my RX-7.
Yeah, we're not going to sell off the parts we take off. They're going to get plastic wrapped and then boxed up and kept.
Because like even the parts on my RX-7, when I take out the seats, like those are OEM seats. I'm keeping them with my RX-7.
Yeah.
Not selling them. Like that's stupid. They're only going to get more and more rare. Like I'd rather if. Fucking whenever I do die, and my nephew, like, he fucking loves the car, like, then he can have the seats with him. He can put the seats back in if he doesn't like the fucking confetti seats. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna confetti seat so many things.
Oh yeah, confetti seats look so good.
Matt Farrow put the whole world onto that basically with buying cheap ass fabric for like bus seats. It's also super durable, and reupholstering your interior with it. Like that's the move. It for a lot of the cars we like too, it's very much of the era, and it looks appropriate. Yeah.
Like it fits. That's the thing. It actually like doesn't look bad. So yeah.
No, it looks great. I think didn't he get rid of his Safari 911, or does he still have it?
I have no idea. That I do not know.
Yeah.
But I mean it makes sense. Like
yeah, it looks good too. He did it to his Fox body too. Keep scrolling down. I don't know if you'll see his black Fox body.
No.
I just put in Matt for a Fox body.
That's what I was gonna do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks so great on an all black Mustang.
Yeah. Like
I know he did sell because he talked about it. He's like, I got to the point with that car where it was like, to get it to what I wanted it to be, it was like either spend 30 grand on an engine, or I'll just sell the car, or I'll just be happy with it how it is. And he was like, I think I was happy with it how it is. And then he sold it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still, it was a nice car.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like when you spend that kind of money on it, like you have Matt Farah money, you can spend money on it to make it however you want.
I long for the days when we have Matt Farah money, because we don't live in the communist state of California.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of companies are moving away from California because of how ridiculous shit has gotten there, which is good.
The taxes. Ooh, the taxes.
Because hopefully, it'll go back to being a nicer place to, visit. And not...
California, no. They're going to regulate themselves into hell.
Yeah, to death.
They're already saying no internal combustion engines by 2035. It was like, well, I hope you like empty store shelves.
Yeah. Because trucks aren't there yet.
Piece of shit. Tesla trucks ain't going to deliver that shit.
No, and trains can't do it, clearly. Like, because trains...
No, because they have diesel engines too.
Yeah.
And you'll be on strike.
Yeah, like, it's gotten ridiculous.
Yeah, well, fuck California.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch the misery of California unfold in real time from the safety of not California.
Yeah, the other side of the states. Like, we can go there just to buy a car, and that's basically it.
We'll visit. We'll see some tourist attractions. We'll probably also see lots and lots of homeless camps and shit on the sidewalks and stuff like that. But that's just California.
Nothing will ever change. It's like Seattle and Portland.
Yeah, one of these. The car I'm going to add to my list, actually, by the way, is another 2004 Escalade.
Oh, you want to get another one? You should just track down yours. See where it went.
The last I knew of, the guy I bought the Raptor from, the actual salesman I dealt with before we went there, the guy I was on the phone with primarily, he's the nephew of the owner of that car dealership, and he really liked the Escalade, and the last I heard from him, he was using it to drive back and forth between Portland and Vancouver, Canada, like on weekends, because his family is in Vancouver, and he's from Vancouver. He just works down there for the dealership, for his uncle's dealership. So he's commuting in that Escalade, and I'm like, yeah, man, for a highway commuter, there's really nothing more comfortable than that truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I got the bumper repainted, and it's a great truck, man.
Oh, yeah.
Does the air suspension work? I was like, no, it never worked, but you wouldn't notice from driving it. And he's like, you're right, I don't. I was like,
yeah, Jesus. That's fucking nice. Yeah, if you could find the VIN, like, see if you could just buy it back from him. Get the old Escalade back. I
have the VIN. I still have one of the registrations for it. So we might do that and then fix up my Escalade how I always wanted to.
Hell yeah.
That's the only thing I'd put an LS-based motor in, because it already had one.
Yeah.
But my dream, of course, was the V10 Escalade, because, hey, you're back.
Nice.
Because there were concept mule, test mule V10 Escalades at the time, because Ford had the V10 Excursion. They're full size. My brother had one of those, a V10 Excursion. He sold it. It wasn't great. Yeah, there were those at the time, and Cadillac's concern was that they were going to put the V10 in the Lincoln SUVs. And they wanted a competitor, so they built a few V10 LS style truck engines, and they tested. It couldn't meet fuel economy standards was their thing, so they didn't do it. But with the technology now, it's almost 20 years later than 2004. So
I'm sure we could manage.
Also, there are is it Texas Speed? Somebody out there, they make different engine configurations of LS blocks and heads. They make V6s, V10s, V12s. They make a 4-cylinder, just a straight 4. I think it's Texas Speed. I don't know. It's somebody. But yeah, it's all LS stuff, so I don't pay a lot of attention to it because I don't really care that much.
Let's see. So it looks like Racecast Engineering does one.
They do the V12, I know, but somebody put in V10 LS. I know somebody makes a lot of different. Oh, that's the actual prototype. LS X Magazine found it.
Sweet.
Expensive is what that would fucking be.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know there's people out there that make them. Additionally, that 4-cylinder LS engine that's just one bank of an LS1 basically. It's just half of the engine.
Mm-hmm.
That thing makes like 300 something. Like that'd be perfect for like the Manta.
Yeah.
That already has a 4-cylinder in it. Hell yeah, dude.
And it makes really good power. Like Jesus.
Well, for a 4-cylinder engine, what that is basically like a Group A racing engine, and it's just half of a production GM V8.
Like Jesus.
Yeah, 3.6 liter 4-cylinder. It's a big 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Anyone? They don't talk about cost. I was hoping they'd talk about cost.
No, a lot. I mean.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Like the Manta car, I want to do it right. I don't want to do anything.
I want to do it right. I probably don't want to put that engine in it, because of cost, and also I hate the LS. But
yeah.
What I really would like to do with it is GM made a really hot rod 4-cylinder in the late 80s and early 90s that I don't think Opel, the German side of GM, ever got to see. It was called the Quad 4.
Like that?
You just put in GM Quad 4. The red one. Yeah. They put that in a lot of front-wheel drive Oldsmobiles and Pontiacs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you those cars, even being a 4-door Oldsmobile sedan, would burn both front tires off from a dead stop. Those were good 4-cylinder engines, man. So for like the Manta or any of our other like 4-cylinder, projects that we've been kicking around, like a Quad 4, because it's a really cheap engine to find. Like we can go to a junkyard, buy a Cavalier, and it'll probably have a Quad 4 in it.
Hell yeah.
And then it's a quick rebuild away from being like a Group A racing level into like some Z24 Chevy Cavaliers. I have seen like hang with built Subaru Imprezas because they got Quad 4s in them, like that's a naturally aspirated stout 4-cylinder at that. Yeah. Go down. One more. One more.
What?
There's a really nice looking one in an engine bay. It was like red and black and really shiny, and I wanted you to click on it just to see how good looking that engine can be. I know you hear 80s GM 4-cylinder. Yeah, that's a pretty good looking one. Click that. Yeah.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. I see like, not the best engine ever, but like that's still, it can be a pretty good looking 4-cylinder, especially if we get it out of a front wheel drive engine bay and get it into, a rear wheel drive car. Hell, the Beretta we end up buying for my ZR1 Beretta project might have a Quad 4 in it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some well built and high power NA 4-cylinder engines out there that GM made, and a lot of them are a quad 4. Oh, Jay Leno's Garage. He had the Oldsmobile on there. They were talking about how it won its SCCA class that year. Look at that. Look at that horrible 90s Oldsmobile.
Yeah, that's some of the not so best designs of the 90s.
That's the peak malaise era, but also, even though they were terrible looking cars, they were still good looking, terrible cars. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, that looks bad, but like it's different. It's unique. It's still got a nice roof line. You've got great visibility out of it. It's still available in torch red, which is a great color on any car. You know,
Yeah.
it's still...
Red does look good on most cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. The 90s definitely was a good era overall. Because even like the most...
Solid decade for cars.
Because even to me, the most like generic car, like the car even I saw a good bit in Pennsylvania was a 300ZX, or no, it was a 280ZX, sorry. 280ZX. So like that, shoot, no, it was the first gen 300ZX, sorry. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, 300ZX, like 85.
So, like even that, like...
Those aren't bad looking cars.
I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, are they, a fantastic looking car? No, not really.
No, and their engine wasn't great.
But, like, they still look pretty good. Like, they're unique.
That was sort of the development phase for the VQ V6, and it didn't go great. They had a lot of reliability issues that they really got figured out by the second gen, which is my favorite generation, 300ZX.
Oh yeah, like I still I still want to get one of these.
Yeah, fantastic 90s car. I mean, absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But
also looks fantastic in red, like that clip from a fucking Time Cop.
Oh yeah,
that we watched on the last podcast.
Yeah, that's definitely a car I do want to get at some point. But definitely another car that we can probably get at any point, because I don't, even if they are kind of getting up in price, we can still find a junkyard one and just fix it up.
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, they are getting up a little bit in price.
There are lots of junkyards and Copart auctions that we'll be able to go to. I mean,
speaking of...
Bring a trailer is the wrong place to go to, like, gauge the price of things, because Bring a Trailer is like where people who think their vehicles are worth more than they're worth list their things for sale. You know?
I wanted to show you the last few things that went up for sale. I don't know how to find it on here. Cause I know how to find it on the mobile one, but not on here. There we go. Auction results. Yeah, that one I told somebody about this at work. So a 4-mile 2006 Ford GT sold for $600,000.
That's about what Ford GTs go for. Yeah. And it's ridiculous to me that it's got 4 miles on it, because it's like, what? Why did you even buy that? You never drove that?
Because that's dealer miles. That's all it is. There's no way that's not dealer miles. There's no way
it's production line and then moving around the dealer miles. Yeah. And then you bought it, probably trailered it home, put it in a plastic condom, and left it in a climate-controlled garage for 18 years now. And like, what? Did you ever go sit in it? You never did anything?
Like, yeah, great investment.
You're the worst kind of car person. You bought that as a collector's item and never enjoyed it.
Yeah. So
now someone else is going to buy it and do the exact same shit.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. So here's a Ford GT for $1 million.
I don't give a shit about that Ford GT.
No, there was another reason. I was bringing that one up. Shoot. Results. Come on. Come on. There we go. A 10-mile one sold for 1.3. So another guy.
You weren't allowed to sell your Ford GT.
So another guy that 10 miles for 1.3. And then there was one. Oh, there we go. Nissan R34 NER for $500,000.
The M-Spec NER was the more comfortable variant of the NER. The V-Spec NER was a full-on track.
Oh yeah, yeah. They took out all the
everything.
aircon and all that radio, but still, $500,000 is a lot of money
For an old Nissan. Yeah.
Shoot. All right, we'll go back.
My babe's dying.
Because if we go back to we click on the car, which we're not trying to blow shade at, this person. I'm just trying to go and point out
fuck that guy.
So, yeah, there's another one, a one-owner one for 333,000 miles, so even that's half the price. So here's one.
That's not the kind of car that you find too often where it's not like a one or two owner situation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're going to find a Ford GT for sale with 17 different owners.
No. But, that's the thing. This one, 4 miles, $600,000. This one, 1,800 miles, $200,000 less.
It's... and they're the same car.
Yeah. It's literally just paint. Honestly, I think I'd rather go with this one because, the savings of $200,000, I don't think that's worth. I'd really rather buy this. That way I can drive the car and not feel bad.
Well, I don't give a shit about paint and pedigree because, like we said, I can paint a car.
Yeah. But, I mean, you can't... I would never want to drive that, though. I would never buy that because I would never want to drive that. I would never want to drive that.
You never could drive those. Those have, never been driven. I don't think they'd run if you tried to start them. The engine's probably fucking seized.
So it's just ridiculous. Why would you do that? Like that, I wouldn't do that. I would never twin turbocharge that car. That car was designed in a way, but 1,800 miles, 6,000 miles, yeah, I would absolutely drive those. I would run the miles on thing. I would daily drive it. But, I could never do that to those. I would, besides seizing, I just feel bad.
Yeah. You would start it up, and if it did start and run, and ran okay and the engine wasn't seized and nothing was hurt, you would just listen to the engine idling and you would be like, I am devaluing my investment right now. I've lost $100,000 by driving this car.
Yeah.
Which we don't care about that. That's not what we're doing. If we end up with a 2006 4.5 or whatever Ford GT, it's probably because we found one at a Copart auction that somebody stuffed into a tree.
Yep.
It's got a salvage title and we're going to fix it. We don't care about the salvage title. We're going to do neat shit with it.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. That's because I do want to get one, not of this one. I want to get one of the race car replicas and then make that fun.
That's what's going to get my Raptor's old 6.2 when the Raptor gets a 7.3 Godzilla engine.
Yep.
With a supercharger.
Because I know we had talked about putting a Penske livery on the 40. I
don't believe Penske ever ran a GT40.
Well, I remember you had talked about putting one on. I don't know if you were still wanted to float. You were still floating that idea.
I think Pennzoil is what I said.
Oh, Pennzoil, sorry.
Yeah, then we would do it up with a very Pennzoil-like livery, which is Hey, look at that. There's already plenty.
Yep.
Yeah, we could find a way to do one. I mean.
Yeah.
Hopefully by then, in cooperation with our sponsor, Pennzoil, the Superior Motor Oil.
We can...
Fuck Mobile One.
Only Pennzoil in this house. But, yeah, so we'll have to go and play around with that. I mean, we'll be going and getting plenty of shells from race car replicas for building stuff. So, but then the only other thing was... close. I'll keep... these open, that way I can search for the catalog later. The only other thing was, so that was from so we talked about Taxi earlier, and that was the one car, and then this was from 2, but what I had actually...
Peugeot. Ridiculous Peugeot.
With all the fucking... Hell yeah, that front... Oh my god, it's so ridiculous. But, so I'd actually played around with the Photoshop, and I showed you, but figured we could just show people, which... I get it. I'm not very good at Photoshop. I did this in about 10 minutes. But basically, the whole idea behind it was putting 944 headlights, but putting the laser-style headlights that they had.
Oh, the halos.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could absolutely do that because at the time of the 944, if you had a round headlight, it was one U.S. mandated circular sealed beam headlight.
Yeah.
Or if you had a square, it was one U.S. Motor vehicle standard mandated square headlight. So they're all round headlights of a certain period of cars are the same size, and now they make universal housings and just universal headlights of that size for everything. So getting 944 pop-ups, making them work in that car, and then just buying, the off eBay halo projector round headlight, not a problem.
Because like lasers, because they go and they keep the crisp like color edge to them. So that was the reason I was looking at like those. But either that or going and doing what you had to, which we were talking about. So this is from the 850, but obviously they would be a little bit wide. So that's the only thing.
And that does just make it look like an accurate NSX.
Yeah, that was the only problem I had with it as well. So I know you were floating the idea of the
those just, I think, look cool.
Yeah.
I was just happy to have found those on a car at all. I was like, well, those look fucking neat.
Yeah, they do look good. Because I do like I almost prefer the square look, but I understand what you mean, so I'll have to kind of float around with the idea. But essentially, all that'll have to get changed because from the OEM...
Porsche's identity that they were always round.
Yeah.
Which is where I thought like the slant nose fucked up because the slant nose made them square and they should have been round.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Let's see if I can find... There.
Yeah, the slant nose fucked up by making them square.
So like, that's a little...
Which I get it, the 80s was a square thing. Of course, they made them square because that was a very 80s thing to do. But like, if they were round, those cars, I feel like today would be worth a lot more money than they are. See, those look great.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I'm floating the idea around. I was floating the idea of those, and then I was floating the idea of actually not doing pop-ups, but then I'm still not very... I'm very unsure about it. The Gambala... So doing something like that, but I feel like another car that we're going to be doing, the F40 Le Mans, kind of has that same feel, so I kind of wasn't really... I was kind of... Again,
nothing wrong with that. That's a fine-looking car. I mean, those headlights do look good.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm floating around a couple ideas. Mainly it'll kind of depend on how wide, because mainly the things I'll have to change is the fender there, and that's really about it. Because the front bumper can stay the same, the hood will stay the same. The main thing is we'll have to kind of drill out a place that way if we do keep the pop-ups, which I'll put that up there. Then way you can pull them up without the engine running. That way it's good by law. But then if we do this, then there's nothing we have to worry about. So it's really just if we do pop-ups, drilling them that way we can pop them up by hand, or that, and then just the width, making sure that they'll fit, because like, as you can see, these are pretty wide. I don't know how wide they are in comparison to like this, because obviously
we also don't know how wide that car is. So
yeah, it's a lot of figuring out the width, and it's not very easy. I haven't really found a place I can just Google like, what are the dimensions of an 850 Ci, BMW headlights? Like, not really.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic, but without having one or going to a car show and seeing one and measuring it, we don't know.
Yeah, so it's a lot of playing around, floating ideas, because like, I know that would fit. I know this. No, not those. I know this would fit. I mean, not those obviously, but like the
944 headlights, they would fit.
Yeah, like those would fit, these would fit, like I know they'd fit. So like it's just a lot of floating ideas around that's kind of letting it sit around in my mouth sort of thing, just see what I like best.
I'm sure that by the time we get to building it, you'll know what you want to do.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I mean it's something to keep me occupied just because really the main thing. Kind of keep this whole thing is really what keeps me occupied. Just because it's the. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you got to stay busy or else you go crazy. That's why I've been going so crazy lately, because I haven't been busy.
That's fair. That's fair. Hopefully, you get an update on the work.
Dude, if they don't call me on Monday and be like, hey, well, when do you want to start? I'm going to call them and be like, what is the hang up?
Yeah.
The background check does not take this long. I know I passed the drug test and everything's good. Why are you not calling me? Like, I'm trying to get working.
Yeah.
Come on. It's been weeks now. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely been way too long. It's getting. I can understand your frustration. So hopefully something. Today's Sunday for you, so yeah, tomorrow, hopefully.
Yes, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow morning. I better get a phone call.
Hopefully. So that way you can get back into the grind, and that way your free time actually feels more relaxing and rewarding almost, because it's not every day. I do know.
Yeah, I've lost my zest for life in my free time. I find no joy in doing any of the things I used to enjoy doing anymore. It's because
yeah, that's the reason. I mean, you could never retire because of that.
No, I'll never be able to just retire and stop working and stop doing anything.
Yeah.
Like the warehouse project, once we're up and going, I don't think will ever end.
Yeah.
It will probably eventually segue into a kind of ultimately, goal would be it segues and eventually ends up into some kind of Grand Tour Top Gear style car show that we do either for a streaming service or just on YouTube. And that's just what we do. We're all sitting around the warehouse project, all of our various builds and cars, here's the plan. $5,000, cheap car challenge.
Yeah. Something that's absolutely ridiculous, but still fun.
Yeah.
Just because.
What's the challenge? It's knowing us, the challenge won't be. It'll be imaginative and exciting. It won't be anything like they've already done.
Yeah. I mean, I would honestly even say hey, here's plane tickets to wherever. Fucking the car's there. Get it home. Just drive it home.
Yeah, that in itself even may be the challenge. You, me, maybe Chuck, and I don't know, Lee, Collins. Yeah. If Collins is around for it, Collins likes cars. He might be into it.
Yeah,
Miller. So we each got $3,500. 5 plane tickets to LAX. We have to get back here with our car. That's the challenge.
Yeah. Just something.
Oh fuck! Yep.
Absolutely wild. So.
No, the first question would be including gas? No, not including gas. That's on you. Just get the car back here.
Yeah, that.
It's got to be running under its own power. It's got to get back here.
That.
I'll tell you right away what I'm buying. I'm going for a beat to hell 2-wheel drive Chevy pickup because I know that fucker will run. I won't pass no gas stations, but I will make it home. I'll be smoking and oily, but I'll make it home.
Yeah, I don't. Oh god.
Yeah, it's the challenge along the way too, because it's fuck, I need a tire. Okay, well, the tire shop 4 miles from me. Call them hey, you got 4 tires that'll fit this thing in stock, and can you put them on today?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know it would be better in the States, because I think I told you about how, even here, when I had a flat tire after my surgery, getting a new tire, getting 4 new tires for my car, because I wasn't going to just change one. I changed all 4.
In Japan, where 3 major tire companies are headquartered, and where they grow the rubber trees to make tires.
Well, in Okinawa, at least, it was really difficult. I had to call many, many tire shops because nobody had all 4 of my tires, because my fronts and my rears are obviously different.
Yeah, your front rims are narrower than your rear rims.
Yeah. So they either had one or the other. They didn't have both. So, I had to go and drive what turned into, an hour and a half drive, which is normally, a 30-minute commute, because I had to drive there on a spare to go get it changed, and that was a miserable time. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you're really not supposed to go over like 35 miles per hour on those Space Saver spares. I see people on the interstate with them and shit. I'm like, you're gonna die.
Yeah. No, I think I didn't go over 40 kilometers, which is not very fast.
It's the same thing almost, yeah, but yeah. At least you were safe about it and did it correctly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I don't chance anything with my car. Like, it's this car. People go on like, man, you're kind of weird, you know. You get out of your car when you're going into work and you do, like, double takes at your car and you just kind of, like, sigh at it. And, like, yeah, because I fucking love this car, man. I spent 30 grand on it.
Right before we podcasted and I went outside to smoke, as the whole time I was standing at the edge of my sidewalk just looking at both the Camaro and the Raptor parked next to each other. It was like I'm in love with both of my cars.
Yeah.
They're what I like. I love them.
Yeah.
They're great. They're what I wanted, and I got them. Like,
yeah, exactly. And that's a fantastic thing is getting the car.
I'll never not have that feeling with any of my cars because they're all what I want.
Which is a great feeling. Great feeling.
It is. Love your cars. Have interesting cars.
Oh yeah.
Stop buying the same beige, gray, and silver Econo boxes, everyone. Please.
Bring back fun colors.
Fun colors, fun cars.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that there's very few cars.
Fake people that are like, oh, I love my car. I customize it. I put a bunch of stickers all over the dashboard because I'm so kooky. Like, you're a fucking idiot. You didn't do anything. You did nothing. Your car is worse now than it was before, and it was pretty terrible before. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are always going to be awful. Some of them are really funny when they decorate because it's like those people. Oh god, where was it? I gotta. Oh shit, sorry. God dang it. Hold on. The funniest thing I ever saw, the funniest decoration I ever saw was that.
Yeah, you're gonna die. You ever hit anything and that airbag goes off, you're gonna die. You turned your airbag into a claymore, is what you basically just did. They're gonna launch like shrapnel
and it's
directly at your face.
Because people do it.
Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. You're so dead.
Like people do it unironically too, and it's so funny. I love it.
Well, yeah, they just don't know, and it's like
no, they don't. That's why I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, stuff like that kind of customization. The other big one I see is I'll just type in Portland car. How about that? Maybe that'll give me what I was looking for.
There's some cars in Portland, all right. And there's some people in Portland too. I tell you what.
There we go. Car covered in stickers. It's like not even like that level, but like like that.
Yeah, that's Portland car, all right.
Which this one's in. I don't really know where because it's not America, and that's all I really care about.
Somewhere in Europe.
But yeah, people that do that, like, oh god.
There's a perfect example. It's always a Prius. I've never seen a Prius that doesn't look like this.
Oh, this one? This is a...
No, click the Prius. You were on it.
Where? Oh, this, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
California. Yep.
No, I've never seen a Prius that doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've always been close enough to read the stickers, and you know why? Because Priuses that look like that always refuse to get out of the fast lane.
Yeah, that was a... Oh god, that just reminds me of that time when we were driving back to base in the Raptor and that guy wouldn't pull over and his Prius and his girlfriend we went and got to the 2-lane area and got into the other lane and then went around him and he got all mad and pissy and flicked you off. Or flicked, I guess, all of us off.
Yeah. That's happened to me many times in the Raptor where someone refuses to get over to let me go by, even though I'm clearly faster than them. And then when I pass them, like in a passing lane or something, they get so angry. Like one person called the cops on me for passing them in a passing area. I knew they had to because I was, again, this was a while ago. I was on my way back to the base or the apartment. I think it was base still. And it was right about where the shrimp shack is.
Oh, okay.
That a state trooper pulled out and got behind me and followed me for like a long time. Followed me probably to where the airplanes are outside base, and I'd made that turn. And I rolled maybe 300 feet and threw the lights on, pulled me over. He's like, you know why I pulled you over? I was like, is my exhaust too loud? He's like, no. Somebody called and said you were like driving dangerous and like driving way too fast and like you passed them and stuff. Like, I mean, I did pass somebody, but I passed them in the passing area. And he's like, yeah, I followed you for like 3-4 miles, man. You're not driving dangerous or anything. Like, I don't know. Some people got a problem with everything. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice truck, by the way. And then he left, and I was like, hey, thanks.
Yeah, sounds all right.
And he was walking back to his car, and I started up, and he's like, that was good. And I'm like, yeah, no fucking exhaust.
Yeah.
It's even louder now, but yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
All right, yeah. But anyway.
But yeah, I think that was everything. We can pick this up back in a couple days if you want. I will be.
My pillow. My kissy face emoji pillow I've had since 2017, since I first moved into the barracks. It would be. Yeah, I used to have 2 of them. I remember we went to Walmart and I bought 2 of them. My now dead ex-wife stole one of them, and it's who knows where. But I've still got one.
There you go.
It's deeply faded. It used to be yellow, but
yeah, I can tell. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it was like a $5 pillow from Walmart. Of course, it faded.
Yeah,
it's not well built, but it's holding together. You know,
and it's been through some shit.
Yeah.
Been through some fucking shit.
My kissy face emoji pillow.
But yeah, we can pick this up in a couple days then. We can play some games if you want. Talk about the race.
Hopefully I'll have more to talk about in a couple days. I'll be back to work. I can talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, I still gotta figure it out. No, I'll figure it out when I gotta figure it out. Same my toolbox situation, because I have 2 toolboxes now. One of them definitely does fit in just the back seat of the Raptor when I fold the seats up. The other one I don't think will, so I'll probably have to lock it, make sure it's shut, and ratchet strap it into the bed, and then have somebody help me just get it down and out of the bed once I get there. So, not a huge deal.
No. So hopefully you can figure that out. Hell yeah. Good luck, bud. Good luck. But yeah, we'll pick us up in a few days and hopefully get good news on all accounts. So. That
would be great. Don't pray for Ohio. They don't deserve it. Ohio deserves every bad thing that happens to them, especially train derailments. Yeah.
All right, then.
Go Buckeyes.
Go Buckeyes.
All right. Love you, bud.
Love you,
This
too,
was fun. We'll talk again soon.